You know what they say about throwing stones from glass houses? Well, Chuck Schumer learned the hard way that the same thing is true when it comes to polling numbers. Good old Chucky held a press conference blasting President Trump's first 100 days in office, and he was obsessed with Trump's poll numbers. But there's just one problem. Chuck and the Democrats are polling a lot worse, exponentially worse than Donald Trump. A reporter brought this up, and you could see the confusion and, dare I say, panic in Chuck Schumer's eyes.
Americans are noticing. The polls this week show Trump has the lowest 100-day approval rating since they started polling 80 years ago, the lowest. Even worse, 72% of Americans think it's likely that Trump's handling of the economy will walk us directly into a recession. People who hate what Trump is proposing. Yes.
There's a poll out today that has your approval ratings lower than any other congressional leader at 17%. Are you concerned that you may be a liability for your party?
Polls come and go. Our party is united. We're on our front foot. We're stepping forward and going after Trump and having real success. Yes.
Talk about the hypocrisy. Polls come and go. Then why did you just spend the last portion of your press conference talking about President Trump's polls? The entire span of that interaction was about 2 minutes. The middle part where Chuck just went on and on bashing President Trump, cut that out because figured you guys wouldn't want to see that. But the hypocrisy and the lack of awareness is just astounding. But these are the Democrats we're talking about, so we shouldn't be surprised. Now, you know things are really bad for the Democrats when even CNN admits that if the election were held today instead, President Trump would still win. That's right, despite the tariffs, the deportations, and all the negative headlines from the last 100 days, Kamala Harris would not step foot into the White House ever again.
Who would be doing a better job as president? Guess who comes out on top? Within the margin of error, but comes out on top. This looks a lot like the election result, right? Trump 45%, 2 points ahead of Harris at 43%. 12% say they'd be doing about the same. But this is the key nugget here. It's not just about regretting that vote. It's literally saying who would be doing the better job right now. And Trump continues to score a higher percentage of the vote than Kamala Harris. This looks a heck of a lot like the election result. We have just seen this in poll after poll after poll.
Yeah, the media likes to claim that Trump supporters and voters are regretting their vote, but I have not seen any evidence for that. If anything, I think most Trump voters really like what they're seeing and are excited by what's coming down the pipeline. So last week, 2 separate judges were arrested. One was arrested for allowing a TDA gang member to live on his property. He was apparently living in the guest house. And another judge was arrested for helping an illegal immigrant evade ICE arrest. Well, it appears that more high-profile arrests are around the corner. And in fact, they may even be mayors or at least some high level of city leadership in sanctuary cities. Pay attention to Tom Homan's face when he's asked this question, specifically his smile.
So, the president signed an executive order just this week threatening to defund sanctuary cities for their policies. Why not just arrest the leaders who are harboring and shielding illegal aliens, actually terrorists, from deportation?
Wait to see what's coming.
Wait till you see what's coming. Look, I'll believe it when I see it. Tom Homan is someone I take both literally and seriously. When it comes to President Trump, there's the saying, right? You don't take him literally, but you take him seriously. With Tom Homan, I think it's both. From my observations, he hasn't really been prone to over-exaggerating. I feel like he's really on the nose and just right on with the facts. And to me, that smile looked as if he was excited. Like, I can't tell you what's coming, but something big is coming. And I think that the arrest of those judges could be a precursor of what's to come. Now, there's been a lot of talk about deportations ramping up, which gives credibility to this theory that Tom Homan is hinting towards here. So yesterday, Governor Ron DeSantis appeared on Fox News, and he was talking about how easily it would just take 72 hours. He could ramp up deportations within 72 hours, just a few days. He could have up to 10,000 beds to deport illegals back to El Salvador.
Tomorrow. And so those are the types of numbers you need to really be able to put a dent in what Biden did. I mean, Biden let in millions and millions, and there were already millions and millions of illegal aliens. You got to get those numbers up. So we're proud of doing that. We're the only state that's doing it at that level. However, we're ready to do more. We want DHS to approve some of our plans. We have the best emergency response and problem-solving units in the country. I can set up at a moment's notice within 72 hours, 10,000 beds, for illegals so they can be processed and deported. We can run flights to El Salvador, wherever they need to. So we're doing a lot. We're doing more than any other state, but we could do a lot more. And so we're working with DHS. And if they give us the approval on that, you'll see those numbers go up even more.
Yeah, the telltale line there was that he hopes that DHS approves their plans, which tells us that plans have been set. They've been working back and forth. And it's interesting that he mentioned El Salvador specifically. There are so many countries where people can be deported to. Obviously, El Salvador has been in the news, but this to me suggests that, yes, something big really is coming down the pipeline and is right around the corner. Now, it does make sense that President Trump and the administration would focus on this. This is such a big winning issue for him. It's one of the few issues where if you just take the polls at face value, and we all know the polls play shenanigans, whatever they have Trump at, add a few points because they always underestimate his support. But again, just at face value, he's above water. A majority of Americans in both parties, including independents, approve of what Trump is doing at the border and when it comes to immigration. So it just makes sense that they would double down and, hey, play to your strengths and use that to gain political goodwill before you start trying to implement other areas of your agenda. So for all the talk of how terrible President Trump is to the press, have you ever heard him be as vulgar as Ilhan Omar? Warning, this is not censored.
Congresswoman Omar, I'm Miles Morrell with the Daily Caller News Foundation. Do you think more of your Democratic colleagues should be traveling to El Salvador to advocate on behalf of Rodrigo Garcia?
I think you should fuck off. Yeah, that's
I'm sorry, what? Congresswoman?
Fuck off.
Who should?
You.
Why me?
We're not taking any questions right now, but here you go.
Yeah, thanks.
So a few days ago, President Trump appeared on ABC News, and a lot of people were like, why does President Trump even engage with the mainstream fake news media? But at least he engages with them, right? He's respectful. Yes, sometimes he gets tough and he speaks his mind, but the Democrats just talk about being filled with hate. That was the Daily Caller. Sure, they have maybe a little bit of right-wing bias, but it's not like they're Breitbart or OAN or the Gateway Pundit or Fox News, right? They definitely are more to the center, and yet Ilhan Omar was just abrasive, rude, and extremely vulgar. There really is no excuse for that. So for all the Democrats, for all the media claiming that Trump is a threat to the free press, I think that an attitude like that is really despicable. So yesterday, President Trump and the White House launched a brand new website, or a new page on their website, whitehouse.gov/wire. It is essentially their version of the Drudge Report. Well, Matt Drudge is not happy about it, and he's now threatening to sue President Trump for $1 trillion. According to the New York Sun, Matt Drudge threatens $1 trillion lawsuit against Trump administration for copying his news website. The White House Wire launched with favorable news and social media posts about the president's first 100 days. First of all, I don't think it's possible to copyright a website design. I'm pretty sure it's similar to song structure, right? Like you can copyright a melody, you can copyright like the specific rhythm and notes, but you can't copyright a chord progression because there are only so many chord progressions there are. To me, the White House Wire doesn't even look that similar to the Drudge Report. It's definitely inspired by it, but I wouldn't call it a ripoff. I've definitely seen ripoffs. White House Wire is not one of them. The Daily Mail confirms this too. But in here, I'm considering a $1 trillion lawsuit, Mr. Drudge said in an email response to Oliver Darcy. This also confirms that Drudge Report has not sold out. There were a lot of theories that he had sold to a buyer because he clearly has turned anti-Trump. Not just anti-Trump, but anti-Republican and anti-conservative. It really is a shocking swing. Usually you don't see that sort of evolution happen. And so it really makes me wonder, like, what happened, or is he just a grifter? It's really disturbing. Now, with all of that being said, for those of you who were with the channel back when I ran the Buried Lead, I do plan on relaunching that website, and I will do everything in my power to take down the Drudge Report. In today's video, I would like to recognize USMC Car and RL1 401. Bob, thank you so much. These are people who have given tips or super thanks to the channel. I appreciate it, and I'm so glad that you enjoy the videos. So Gen Z is now slowly entering the workforce, and there's apparently this movement to recognize time blindness. I had no idea this was a term, but this is really crazy.
So I just got yelled at for asking a very reasonable question. So I'm applying to go somewhere, and I just wanted to know, are there accommodations for people who struggle with time blindness and being on time? you know. And then the person I was with interrupted and acted like I was asking something else, and then when we were done, they actually started yelling at me and saying that accommodations for time blindness doesn't exist, and if you struggle with being on time, you'll never be able to get a job.
Yeah.
You know, provided you're trying your absolute best to be there. And then they're like, your stupid generation wants to destroy the workplace. And yeah, I think that a culture where workers are just cut off because they struggle with being on time, when there's other solutions that we can look to, I think that just anybody who thinks it's okay to just treat people like that, yeah, that culture needs to be dismantled. And then I asked that person, how can you feel good about yourself upholding this kind of system? And then to think I'm entitled. No, if people think it's okay to treat others like this, that's entitlement.
Entitled? I guarantee you when she goes to a fast food restaurant, she expects her food on time. I guarantee you she makes her flights on time, or whenever she orders an Uber or Lyft, she probably gets into the car on time. She was talking about other solutions. Solution number one, be on time. Maybe you could get a part-time job. Maybe you get a job with different hours. Maybe you freelance and work on your own hours. How about you find a solution that works for you rather than demanding that everyone else and all of society bends its knee to your will? The irony, of course, is that she probably thinks that President Trump's the dictator and authoritarian. I guarantee she thinks that. She has the look, you know. The leftists always have a certain type of look. Yet she's the one who thinks everyone should bend their time to hers. Well, people in China are not complaining about work. She may be complaining about work, but Chinese people are apparently not. And I think a lot of this actually has to do with President Trump's tariffs. So not a lot has been coming out because obviously the government, the CCP, has a very tight control on social media and just the free flow of information over there. But I was able to get my hands on 3 different articles within the last 24 to 48 hours. This from the Daily Caller. China erupts. Furious workers riot as factories collapse under Trump's tariffs. Apparently, some people haven't even been paid for the last 4 weeks. This also from the Economic Times. China sees surge in worker protests over unpaid wages, factory closures, and U.S. tariffs. Last but not least, the ICIJ, the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, published this. As President Xi Jinping traveled the world, police swept peaceful protesters off the streets. So I think there's definitely some sort of uprising or unrest going on over there. Which tells me that, yes, tariffs are working. I think it's, you know, obviously I'm not rooting for anyone's pain or suffering, but if the tariffs weren't working, I don't think we would be seeing these headlines, and I think it's something to keep on our radar, and I'll definitely keep my eye out and keep everyone updated if more comes from this. But as always, all of that is just my analysis and commentary. That's what's happening in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So earlier in the video, I talked about Matt Drudge, and I'd like to hear your opinion of what you think happened to him. Do you think he sold out? Personally, I think that the news that he said he wants to sue Trump for $1 trillion proves that he still owns the website, or maybe he's just prideful over the design. I don't know. Do you think it's some sort of grudge? Do you think he's butthurt? Do you think he's truly changed his political beliefs? Do you think he's a grifter? Personally, I used to visit the Drudge Report multiple times a day, and out of habit, I still visit it. And so I do want to know what happened. And unfortunately, I don't think we ever will. And so it's just up to us to speculate at this point. If you haven't already, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you in the algorithm. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.